It's my day off today, so I'm going to take the opportunity to mount my soundbar. It's for the TV upstairs in the office here. It's a Samsung frame TV and we've got the Samsung Ultraslim Soundbar. We've set it up, we've connected it, and it's just sitting on the floor, which looks a bit stupid. We don't want any cables to be visible below the TV. I really like having that super clean look. But there are two cables that we've got to hide. I'm just going to route them through the wall. So this is the soundbar. It's going to just be mounted up here, relatively centralized. I want to route the cables through the wall down to here. I don't need to hide the cables from this outlet to here. I think that's going to look fine. I'm going to have a transformer that I'm also going to hide in the wall, but I'm going to make sure that that's mounted so that it's away from all the insulation. It's just sort of sitting on its own so that if it does blow up, not that it should, but in case it does, it's just going to be away from everything. So I've lost the tripod because I'm now using that for my level, but if you have a look, I've just lined up the center line of the level and the horizontal line. So hopefully all we need to do is use this little guide, center it on that line, and then we should be good to go. So to mount this, I'm using the Ramset plasterboard anchors, the self-drilling ones. I really like these ones because they split once they're in, so it just gives that little bit of extra sort of anchoring support. Some of the others I think can split, but they're really tough, so they don't tend to. They do come with these anchors that are made for masonry, but obviously we don't have masonry. So I've just got these button head 8 gauge 40mm screws, and they tend to work quite well. Their head is big enough to anchor the mount against the wall. I've done quite a few soundbars with these and it's been really good. Often I don't screw them in the whole way while I've got the paper there, because when you rip the paper away it's going to leave a little bit behind and it's harder to get to, and then it can jiggle this around. I'd much rather do the last tighten right before I screw in. So that's here, second one. Pretty good, not much mess. That's good. I'm just gonna go do the other two. Alright, now I'm going to just pull this off. You can see that it definitely rips, but it didn't leave anything behind because I didn't clamp it against the wall. So if you just gently tear. Now I'm just going to tighten these up. Really nice. Soundbar is going to cover any of the ugly bits. Again, I'm not going to tighten anything until I've got it all in, because I'm going to also change the position. It's good, it's not super tight, it's just kind of loosely in. So these two bolts go on the back of the soundbar. They just go into these holes. Again, they only need to be very slightly tight, just finger tight's fine. Alright, let's see if it fits on. And 10. They're just that little bit too close together. So that's why, again, I don't want to tighten these too much. But what I will do, you loosen this, I'm just going to push it over a little bit further. Just give it a tiny bit more room. That'll be good. I'm happy to tighten that now because I know roughly where they are. Okay, try that again. So I was actually just having a little bit of trouble, and what I'd done was I'd over tightened the bolt on the back of the soundbar. It's really easy to do. I even said not to do it and then I did it anyway. If you tighten it too much, then it's harder to slide it onto the mount. It was staying and it was mounting, but it was harder to lock across. So if you just leave it, as soon as it starts to bite, just stop there. Not so that there's play, but just as soon as the play stops, that's perfect. And then it'll be easier to slide on. So it's all mounted and it looks pretty good. I've just got to get these cables hidden. I've actually got, instead of this one, which is the micro HDMI, I've got a 5-meter micro HDMI that I just bought on eBay. And it's because I need to route it all the way to the desk over there. So it's just gonna be just that little bit longer. I've got the box hidden. You can kind of see under the desk there. That's the box for the TV. And I've just got to route it over there. To hide the wire here, I'm thinking I might even be able to just loop it around and run it behind the soundbar. I'm not a huge fan of having multiple holes, and I hate running cable horizontally through a wall. I think I might be able to because there are no studs there, but it's still just such a pain. I'd much rather externally route and just hide it behind the soundbar. What I'm going to do is put a hole in the wall right there where the soundbar is, and I'm just going to run both of these cables from the box down there up into here, and it'll come out. Then I'm going to run the cable along the back of the soundbar, and there's enough room. I've just tested it out. I don't know how I'm going to connect it. I'm probably just going to use tape, knowing me, but can use cable clips or anything else you've got at your disposal. I think tape's going to be fine. Maybe zip ties to just hold some of those bends nice and tight, but you're not going to see it anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you use. I've just taped this up. Let me just show you here. So it's just a heap of this cloth tape from 3M, and it's just holding on the cables. I think it's all about investing proper effort where it's going to pay off, and here it's not seen, so who cares what it looks like. Now I'm just going to cut the hole in the wall and then run the cables through. Yucky insulation. Awesome. There we go. That's 3. Now this one, this plug needs to go through here and connect to this, and then this can just be shoved into the wall. So I'll put it through. Awesome. So all of the wires are hidden. I think I probably did the hole slightly too high, and I could have made it wider. That would have made a little bit of extra room so that wires don't loop down, they can loop kind of in and have the curvature all inside a hole. Now I've just got to route cables along the wall and along the floor, and this should be done. So it's all mounted now. I've got the cables running inside the wall from here to the middle and then through the wall down here. Then they just come down and pop through this channel. I could do a better job hiding these, and I might have a clip there just to hold them in place so it looks a little bit neater. I don't really mind if there are a couple of exposed cables down here. It's really this gap that I wanted to have flawless. If you're going to mount one of these yourself, what I'd advise, if you don't have one of these levels, which are awesome by the way, I would just use a normal spirit level, or even the level on your phone is okay, and use painter's tape. So if you get painter's tape, put it against the wall roughly where it needs to go. You can draw with a pencil or a pen on the painter's tape, and then you can make it perfectly level with that. And once you've put all the holes in and secured the mounts, you just remove the tape and it's all gone. I use painter's tape for just about everything. I didn't actually need to use it for this, which was amazing because this is the first time I've mounted one of these with this level, and it's made a huge difference, but it's a bit unnecessary. It just saved maybe 10 minutes. If I was lining it up with the TV, I'd also be using painter's tape there. I'd just put a piece of tape in the middle, then figure out the exact point and mark it. What you can do, if you know that the TV is level, is use a square, put the square against the TV, and then that'll show you where the center of your soundbar needs to go. And you know, these things all nowadays come with that sort of tape-on guide, and that's super useful. If you want, you can measure the distance between the two holes on the soundbar and center it that way. Measure half the distance from the center there and then the other half on that side, but it's a little bit painful compared to just taping up this guide. The other thing is that all of these mounts have a little bit of play in them. You can kind of get maybe 2 mil either side, and then that's okay. But as soon as they go too far out, then you have to redo the holes, and I have had to do that on another TV in another room. We've got a few of these TVs and I love them, but they are the type that you don't necessarily get to put the mount into the studs. You might need to be putting them into the drywall. Super light TVs, so it's pretty easy, but it does mean that it's just that little bit more involved than screwing straight through the wall into a stud. Overall, sound quality from this is awesome. I'd never use a TV without a soundbar. We've got one TV that we never use that doesn't have a soundbar, and I think part of the reason we don't use it is because it doesn't have a soundbar. Even for playing PlayStation, this thing makes a huge difference. Behind the frame, I've got the subwoofer, and it's just hidden behind the couch. It's a wireless connection, so it doesn't really matter where you put it. I just put it behind there because it's out of the way, and for the most part, it will reverberate through the floor and through the walls, so you don't actually feel like there's a directional, like the bass is all coming from your left or something like that. It doesn't need to be directly behind you or in front. It will just amplify through the room. I hope you find this video interesting and useful. If you're going to be mounting one of these, let me know in the comments, or if you have, and if you've done it another way, also let me know. I'm always open to new ideas and new feedback. If you want a review of any of these things, also let me know, because I'm always open to new video ideas.